I'm going to be showing you how I make a Zettelkasten note following Bob Dodo's system of writing style of making Zettelkasten notes. So it's going to be more about the principles, but also just a look into my workflow. So the first thing you need is an idea. And for me, I was writing a blog post and I was outlining my ideas, and I have this note here called collect insights, not transcription. That is essentially a fleeting note, which is just an idea that you have captured, and now I'm going to go in and work on it. So here is our first problem. Obsidian doesn't know that this note is going to be a fleeting note. It has just placed the note as we set it to the default of the vault path. You can also set it to create the note in the same folder, but if you're coming from a project note, it will just put the note in the project folder, which is not what we want. So that's why I have this really handy toolbar that I use to set my notes in the correct folder so I can get the correct metadata. Let me show you. As you can see, I have a note toolbar here for me to decide whether or not it is going into the inbox, which would mean it's a Zettelkasten note. And that means that I can press my hotkey and get the front matter that I would use for a Zettelkasten note. I use Zettel ID as a way to track my entry points and the train of thought. So first, I will just check where am I in terms of entry points, and the last entry point that I made was 23 for this one other node, 23.0. So now I'm going to go back to my current one, and it's a new train of thought, so I'm going to make it 24.0. So the main idea here of collect insights, not transcription, is something that I need to elaborate further on. I think I have my sidekick. Yeah. So this is a plugin that I made, Zettelkasten Status Sidekick, and it has a checklist of what I would want my Zettelkasten note to have. So developed is whether or not I have actually written enough in this note, and I clearly have not. The idea of collecting insights, not transcription, is you shouldn't be just taking notes with the aim of recording down everything the speaker has said, and you shouldn't even be just summarizing the video. You can do that. That is valuable for trying to put things in your own words. Okay, so now I've come to like a point where I need to clarify. If you are recording down everything the speaker has said as if you're a living transcription software, you have entirely missed the point of you, a human, watching the lecture. You can get AI to transcribe for you. So what is the point of a human watching the lecture, right? So when you watch a lecture, you are taking in the information there, and the goal is to see what insights this sparks for you. Does it inspire you? Does it just make you think of another idea in a way that you can synthesize different ideas together to create something new? That is the value that you, a human, brings to knowledge work. Like the second point about how you shouldn't even be summarizing the video, that is why do people summarize, right? This is not the primary purpose of watching content anymore. So you can also get AI to summarize information for you. I think another point is there is so much information out there nowadays that our goal has shifted from simply learning from the information to also curating information that we get, and we can have the more effective technique of saturating ourselves with content and letting our subconscious build a scaffolding with the context that we need in order to properly understand content. So even how you learn has changed. I got a new idea, so I'm going to do a nix, and I'm trying to think of what I'm trying to say here. How we learn. We learn differently in the age of AI and information overload. So yeah, this would be Zettelkasten. This is 24.0. So the next one, 24.0a, for this new node that branched off this thought. And what is the idea here, right? So I'm going to take this note and I'm just going to take copy block link. This is this hotkey that I'm using from the copy block link plugin. So going here, I have pasted this here and I'm going to call it preview. So what is the idea that I want to develop here? It's that we used to learn by memorizing information and engaging with the information to understand the depth of it better. It is still really good to engage with information. I think it's important to read good books, to argue with the author as you annotate in the text and question what you're reading, to be a critical reader and to be a reader that properly thinks. So I'm just going to structure this a bit more. And yeah, so this is a good point. I think I'm going to talk about, this is just the previous note. So I have the link and this is the new information. So I have, this is a good point. This is like my disclaimer, but what is different about now is that we live in the information age where we are saturated with so much information and other people have done a lot of the thinking for us. It is still important to think on our own, but we can take that and use it in a way to enrich how we learn greatly. Here I need a supporting point. So learn by context, is it? Scaffolding and Elizabeth Phillips. So what is the name of that note? It is how the best way to learn is, I'm going to check Elizabeth Phillips, right? So it's this note. So I think it should be a new note, which is Nick. This one, I'm just going to make a new note, which is the best way to learn begins with immersing yourself sea of information, maybe. I definitely need better permanent titles, and this is something that you usually would craft more as you work through things. So I can make an alias here and just put this as one of the possible titles. Remember, we wanted to make sure that we keep track of our train of thought. So this is the Zettelkasten ID for my new note. And the idea here is we have this, right? So this is also a supporting point. I like to put these bracket annotations so that I know in one short glance how this idea relates to the other idea. So I'm just going to close this for now. So I'm going to focus back here, which is what is different is, yeah, we live in this information age. So why is this point important? We now have the ability to learn in this most effective way. Because there's so much information out there, we can actually just skim through what is around and build up a better mental scaffolding before we start actually trying to take the information in, and it's basically building up a structure. And once you have that structure, you can actually start adding bricks to your house in order to make a solid picture of it, something concrete, so that you're drafting it all out. Then later you're making the actual model when you have this reference to use. Yeah, if we think about it using the metaphor of drawing, then it's drawing out this this fake body. It's like the outline of the body before you start drawing out all the parts of the person. Oh, and something you might have noticed is that I try a lot to dictate instead of actually writing. This is the app that I'm currently using, and like this is the model. Large V3 Turbo is basically the best model that you can use for transcription. It is better than Apple Dictation in terms of like accuracy, but Apple Dictation lets you see the live transcription as you are talking, which is very good if you're worried that sometimes your microphone doesn't work. Like you might lose ideas because you're dictating and it's not actually being recorded. I also have a few apps. I have Voice Pen and Voice Pal. You can see I have Voice Pen here because transcription accuracy wise, Voice Pen is actually pretty good, but the AI feature wise, I would pick Voice Pal. This is like example. And you're seeing me manually do it now, but I can also get AI to do this for me. Have I put enough development to this note? Like I wouldn't really look at this progress bar beyond like looking at a percentage to see if I have developed enough, because you probably want to like judge for yourself whether or not this note is ready. We have this idea, we learned differently. So is there anything else about the information age that we like? It's also like other things, right? Like age of AI. So this is information overload and this is age of AI. AI allows us to do a lot more thinking, like with it acting as a partner, a panel of experts, and a minion to clean up your writing. So what do I mean by all this? AI is a very good conversational partner because it can be whoever you tell it to be. You can tell it to argue with you, and you can even have it take on various personas. Part of this is also like how useful it is to have conversation. So like that would be another point. Like I have an article about this, but I haven't really wrote about it, I think. So conversation is, I can't really think of this right now, but I'm going to show, I found it. So beyond voice transcription, the argument for conversation. So like this is my article, which I probably should have made a Zettelkasten note about, but like it is better than writing for producing, for developing ideas. Okay, so this is, I'm gonna paste some stuff here. Yeah, I'm going to take this. I think I already did 1.0, right? So now I'm going to do 2.0. There's more than like 1 point here. So I'm going to go back here, and traditional writing can be, okay, so like the problem of the inner editor, right? So problem with traditional writing, your inner editor. Okay, so like why convo with AI is, or just convo. So yay, I have this ideas, and yeah, we can use AI to converse. This is no, and this is related ideas. We can use AI to converse to help us learn better. So I would say this is actually build on a like utility of this idea. Okay, and this one I would say next conversation select really. I'm still working out the annotations bit, but if we look at this, I think I've developed enough. The title, we learn differently. Can we learn better? We learned differently in the age of AI. Okay, so we often underestimate how much expertise AI actually contains. The reason it can be a team of experts, a marketing expert, a strategic advisor is because it has taken in that much information. It has like the internet of information. From there, it can very accurately mimic some of the most common roles, or at least work out like more things than you could, because it has taken in that much information. The problem here is that people don't really know how to instruct AI. So imagine it's like a huge mess of everything in the world jumbled in, and you need to set a filter, and you need to like guide it to be the kind of expert that you want it to be.
because the fit of the expert to the task is really important. And now I have a new Zettelkasten note, but let's not get too deep. Main problem is that people don't instruct AI well, right? Like, I don't explore every possible note. I just leave it, and I don't even like put it into brackets because it would mess up my system. So if I ever think about this idea again, then I'll develop it. People say that you should treat AI as a teammate instead of a tool, and that is a good idea. That just tells you how much you should iterate with AI, but it's not actually saying that you can't give it miscellaneous tasks. AI is absolutely the person to go for if you want to clean up like a PDF of your handwritten notes. Like anything that requires effort and is kind of brainless, you can tell AI to do. And one of my favorite things to do with it was actually like this readability prompt. So like example, okay, so use AI for improving readability. I think this is just like philosophy. I can. Right, so this is where I would like use tags like core message. Yeah, core message. It's one of my beliefs, and I just wrote another Substack article on this. I actually do just randomly post without necessarily going through my Zettelkasten because it adds another step for me. So yeah, this one I wrote yesterday. Link and switch that back. So this is just a link to my article, like my readability prompt. I think one of the key like working philosophies that I have found with my Zettelkasten is that you don't need to make everything perfect. You don't need to fully develop all the notes. Let them stay in the inbox as a fleeting note until you're ready to work with it. So I'm just going to come back here, and I think I have finally reached a good point. Like I have like marked down formatting and structure. So now I've reached like a good point. I have developed, I have titled, I have added an ID. Now there is tagging it with the relevant tag. So I think it's like modern age, not problem. What's the opposite of modern benefits? Like modern age, right? And I also want to talk about how this is about learning, not against conventional advice as much as new thing. It's kind of improving system, right? Like doing better. You can tell that I am like really just making up tags as I go. And the idea here is that you just want to let go and stop like struggling with, is this correct or not? If you can think of a label for it, you should use it. And another thing I want to do is to take this and ask AI to help me with this problem doing that. So, okay, so let's just put this in, and then let's just like, so I'm gonna just shove the entire thing in. It's okay even if you give it more than it actually needs. Oh, I also have a plugin for this called editor to clipboard. Going to remove this, right? Because you see when you copy directly, this is what you get instead of this text. You would just get this link. So if I wanted to copy this note, I would editor to clipboard. Okay, Command Shift C. Okay. So if I paste this here, you see now there is this beautiful copy of what we want. It is basically going into this file and taking this to copy it for me. I did just like make this plugin for that I wanted the block references to be properly embedded and like easily copied. Yeah, so I have this idea, and now what do I want to tell the chat prompt? I also recommend dictation for this. Help me think of tags that would serve as good entry points for this Zettelkasten note. The main idea here is that I want to be able to find this note, and the tags serve as a way for me to retrieve relevant ideas when I'm thinking about this topic. So it's like, what's the benefit? And like, main goal is, yeah, it's a little bit rambly, but it's okay. Just run it and wait a bit. It doesn't copy notes, by the way. I only copy embeds because that's how I would read the note into Obsidian, and I feel like it would bring in way too much text if I just took in embeds too. So yeah, discoverable, specific enough. Oh, I also save my prompts. Like I have a proper system for saving it in my Alfred, and then I have how I casually save it and unclutter this way. If I use a prompt often enough, I will save it in Alfred using my custom workflow. Okay, so we learn differently. I like to look at the thoughts, but I'm just gonna leave it alone. And yes, so learning evolution. So yeah, okay. There are interesting ideas here, like AI assisted learning, right? So like I would go for like AI, leveraging AI. Then we have, I like learning evolution. Maybe like learning better. The reason I'm doing this is because then I can look at the parent tag of learning and see this. Digital literacy. Oh, is it digital literacy? I think so. Oh, I do want to like work out a good system for how I'm making my tags. So I'm going to try and use like these dashes instead of just putting everything together. Yeah, I think this is good enough for me. And now I'm going to focus back on my Zettel note. And look, there's one last thing, which is linked in Hub. For me, I'm currently using my core beliefs note, and I think, like this could just be, yeah, it could just be here. Learning, we learn differently in Age of AI. And we have, okay, this is like note-taking system. I think this is more like note-taking. It is related to learning in public, but I just want these to be slightly here. Maybe this one. So as you can see, my like main Zettelkasten note actually changes. I will just restructure this as I feel like it. This is in Hub Note. So if you look now in this, right, you can see that this is a full note. I'm just going to press done to send it to my main notes folder, which makes it a proper Zettelkasten note. I think this is pretty much it. Oh, there's also like going back to the previous note, and like that's the thing about like whether or not I'm going to finish off each note. This one I could develop further, so I'm just gonna leave it in my inbox a bit longer to like stew that. I hope you enjoyed this video. It did take me like a full 30 something minutes to do. I'm going to try and publish the raw video like this, and then another version that is like repurposed shorter to see what people like. Please tell me what you think in the comments below.